This is a podcast about one woman's mission to help entrepreneurs and business owners write better business books. Each week, we tackle your writing excuses, because there are excuses too, and help you beat the blank page of doom so that you can write the book that'll grow your life and your business. Now here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the 1000 Authors Show. I'm Vicky Fraser and this is my husband Joe.
Hello.
There has been much styling going on for this podcast.
Not by me. It must
because even though my eye makeup is on point today, and if you want to see the proof of this, you need to go to YouTube and look at my eyeballs. I'm very proud of my face right now. My hair looks like I got dragged through a hedge backwards. And so if you go to the YouTube right now, you will see that I am wearing a magnificent hat.
It is splendid.
I do love a hat. I found it in a cupboard the other day. I found it in a hat box, actually. And I can't remember if I bought it or if my nana gave it to me.
I think it's a nana hat.
Either of those are equally possible, but I love it. It's feathery and it's white and it's got like, it's awesome. I like it. It suits me. I do like a hat.
It's not often you can find a hat small enough to fit on your little head.
So now I have to tell the story, right? Now I have to tell the story of how the other day I was in a training call for a kind of mentoring group for women that I'm a part of. And it's really cool. And it's run by an absolutely lovely lady. And she was talking all about self-confidence and self-esteem and responding rather than reacting and all of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And in amongst it all, she was talking about self-criticism. And while she was talking about self-criticism, all really good stuff, I was typing notes, as I do, and one of the notes I typed, because we're on a conference call and so we could see each other and ourselves, one of the notes that I typed was, "Good God, I've got a ridiculously small head." And then I nearly exploded from the irony of it all. Mm-hmm. But it was like that. You know when you've got a spot or something, and the more you look at it, the bigger and redder it gets? And so the more I looked at my ridiculously tiny head, the smaller it got, until I became that person in Beetlejuice with his head shrunk. And it was awful. And then I was like, I think I've got some work to do on the self-criticism thing. Yeah. And also the irony explosion thing. Anyway. Back to the podcast.
What are we doing? Cheers.
What are we drinking, Joe?
We're drinking the Bath Orange Gin and Tonic.
Which is very nice.
Very nice. I like it.
Chin chin.
Charles.
And we are going to do our normal first thing, which is, Joe, what book are you reading at the moment?
I am reading Only Forward by Michael Marshall Smith, which is like a cross between a Raymond Chandler and Douglas Adams. It's kind of a sci-fi
comedy,
Sam Spadey kind of thing.
Okay, is it comedy or is it just tongue-in-cheeky?
It's quite tongue-in-cheek.
And that is one of the books, by the way, that came out of my reading spa at Mr. B's in Bath. And I'm trying to stop Joe from just disappearing into the circle of time or whatever the hell it is that you're reading.
Wheel
of
of Time
that goes on forever, which, might be very good, but he's been reading it for decades now. And I just thought you needed
to... True.
I thought you needed to read a few things. But the other book that you were reading before, and I don't think we've done a podcast since because you read it really quickly. What was the other book? Soul of an Octopus.
Soul of an Octopus.
That Father Christmas brought you.
By...
Cy Montgomery.
Cy Montgomery.
Oh, we have talked about that, haven't we?
That was very good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But I'm looking forward to reading Only Forward. I am reading at the moment. I'm actually not reading any fiction at the moment because I've just finished a book and I'm just about to start a book. But the book that I'm just about to start is another N.K. Jemisin book, and it's a book of her short stories called How Long Till Black Future Month.
So it's all right for you to just get lost down a wormhole and smash through everything an author has ever written. But for me, you need to intervene.
No, because between this N.K. Jemisin book and the last one, I read a couple of other fiction books. Okay. I read quite a lot of books. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that one because it's kind of funny how things converge. But I'm listening to a podcast by This American Life at the moment, and it's all about Black futurism, and it's super interesting. So it's all like comic book nerds and people who run comic books, but with a focus on Black culture and where Black people come into, sci-fi and fantasy and stuff like that. And N.K. Jemisin is one. Actually, I don't know if they've mentioned her yet, and I keep listening to it and thinking, mention N.K. Jemisin because she's brilliant. They talk about Octavia Butler quite a lot, and she's a very famous voice in the sci-fi and fantasy world. And N.K. Jemisin, I think, is a big fan of Octavia Butler.
Okay.
And so, anyway, the How Long Till Black Future Month, I love the idea of it because it's all about looking, instead of looking back and casting everything in like a victimhood thing, it's looking forward. It's like, well, hang on, we've got a future. What are we doing? Where are we? We're going to be in space as well. And it's really, I'm really looking forward to reading this book. So that's going to be ace. And also still reading The Art of Asking by Amanda Palmer for nonfiction. I've literally got a few pages left. And I've absolutely loved it. I've loved it because she just tells brilliant stories about connecting with people. If you want to know more about how to connect with people, read Amanda Palmer's book. Because she gets a lot of flack in the media and stuff because she's very outspoken and she's very open with everything that she does. Very open. So she's, she's very brave. I could not do what she does. But she just brings people together and she's incredibly kind. And she's just like, she got stranded in Iceland when the volcano erupted. And instead of doing what everybody else did, which is kind of wait for a shuttle bus, she tweeted out to her fans and things, oh, I'm stuck in Iceland because of, stranded in Iceland because of the volcano. Is there anybody around? And one of her fans was like, yeah, I'll come and pick you up and you can come and stay with us. And then, because it was obviously, Europe was shut down for a couple of weeks, she ended up playing a bunch of free gigs in bars in Reykjavik and just got loads of people who were also stranded in Iceland who had never heard of her to come along. And it was just like, oh, this is really cool. What's going on here? And that's the kind of thing she does. And I love it. So that's a really good book as well. But the book that we are talking about this week, because it's book review week, is
Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Which you haven't read yet.
I have not read.
And I would like you to.
It'd be difficult for me to put much into this podcast, I'm afraid.
I don't think it will.
Sidekicking away over here.
Nah, because I've talked about it a lot, and a lot of, you'll be fine, Joe. It'll be fine.
Yeah. Fine, okay.
It was absolutely book of the year for 2019 for me. I'm going to read it once a year, I think, just to remind myself. It's one of those books that's...
Turn into reading it. Reading it turns into a habit.
Yeah. Oh...
Meta.
I know. I don't want to... It's kind of... I think it's kind of wanky when you say, oh, this book changed my life. But it actually has.
Okay.
Like, in a practical way. So there's a couple of quotes I want to start with that sum the book up, almost. And the first one is a quote from James Clear himself. Hi, James.
Hi, James.
He's totally not listening to this.
He might be. Send him a link.
Yeah, I will, actually. And he talks about how, he says, the quality of our lives often depends on the quality of our habits. With the same habits, you end up with the same results, but with better habits, anything is possible. Which is pretty much true.
Seems fairly true.
Because a lot of, habits are just shortcuts. They're brain shortcuts. When you learn to drive a car, it's really difficult, right? You have to think about every little thing. Lots of
effort, lots of energy, lots of concentration, difficult.
But when it's like, the junction thieves, when you're like, I've just done 5 miles and I remember not a thing of it. And it's because nothing happened. But if something had if a car had pulled in front of you or swerved in front of you, your brain would have kicked in. You would have
suddenly become conscious.
Yeah. And that leads me on to the next quote, which I've read elsewhere, but obviously James Clear talks about it as well, by Carl Jung. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And I love that quote because so many people sleepwalk through life and let their habits, their unconscious habits just march them through, which is totally understandable because that's what we've evolved to do.
It's easier.
It's easier, it's energy efficient, all the rest of it. And for a lot of things, for a lot of the time, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, for like walking and...
Brushing your teeth
and driving cars and things. You don't want to be thinking, how far in front of one foot should I put the other? And
how do I open the door?
Which muscle do I twitch to keep my balance up on this uneven ground and all that kind of stuff? It doesn't happen. But
we also fall into bad habits as well, and that's a problem. And so that's where we have to be conscious about, don't think about absolutely everything all the time, but maybe for all of your habits, every now and then just go, is this habit actually serving me? If you're brushing your teeth, then it probably is and you should keep doing it. But if you automatically, and this was a problem for us, if you automatically get home from work and kind of do what you're doing, get in and then open a bottle of wine and pour a glass, and it's just an automatic thing, that's a problem. Or for us it was anyway. Yeah. Because we didn't want to just be, and like yesterday I had a really bad day and you said, in the kindest possible, whatever, oh, would you like a glass of wine? And time was, I would have been like, yes, I do. And because it would be habit to do so. But yesterday I was like, no, I don't want to self-medicate in that way. That's not the person I want to be. So yeah, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Keep that in mind throughout this podcast, I think. So, just wanted to go through a few of the key learnings, key things that I took away from this book.
Key things.
And there are so many of them because I've put a lot of them into practice in my daily life and business already. But the most important one, really, and this is something that I'm trying to remember every day, and I've got it written down in a place where I can see it, is every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd never really thought of it like that before, but we are really made up of our habits and the things that we do. That's who we are. And yes, there's beliefs and stuff in there as well. But, that's tied in with it. What type of a person do I want to be? Who is the type of person who can write a great book? Who is the type of person who can help other people write a great book? What would a real writer do? If you want to be a great lawyer, what would a top lawyer do? If you want to be healthier, if you want to stop eating junk food, if you want to lose weight or whatever, what would a healthy person do in this situation?
Yeah.
It's a really, really cool thing to ask yourself, a really handy thing to ask yourself. So have you ever thought of it like that before? A vote for the type of person you want to be?
I think I've heard something similar to that before.
Maybe from me.
It might be from you. I don't know. That did ring a bell. I have heard that before. Yeah, it is easy, isn't it, to just kind of slide into a habit and just feel comfortable, and that's what you do, and that's who you are and how you behave. It takes a lot more effort to crack into that and make a conscious decision, but it is more productive. We've talked about this before, I'm sure. I've talked about people in supermarkets. If you look at people in supermarkets when they're shopping, there are some people who are engaging with each other and engaging with their children, and they're talking and thinking and making decisions. And there's others who just stroll up the canned aisle and, put 2 tins of beans in the trolley. And they're just doing, and they eat the same thing every week, and they're doing the same stuff all the time, and maybe it's their downtime. Maybe this is entirely justified and sensible of them.
Yeah, you're not judging.
No, I'm not criticizing or judging, but you can see the people who are not just
conscious.
Yeah, people who are conscious, as opposed to people who are just operating on autopilot.
Yeah,
big difference.
There's a big difference, and it's incredibly motivating as well. If you think to yourself, what would whatever person do? What would a successful business owner do? Is a big one for me all the time. And so yesterday morning, I was really tired. My alarm went off at 6:00. I'm going to talk about the habit that I've built to get myself out of bed, by the way, because it's a really good one. I'll talk about that in a bit. I really didn't want to get up. I really super didn't want to get up. And I even said to you, didn't I might stay in bed. And after I said it, I sort of sat there and thought, how will I feel about that later? What type of person do I want to be? And would that person just stay in bed just because they were tired? And I thought back to the last time that I slept in and just how angry I was with myself, and how much more difficult the day was and the morning was, because my routine had been disrupted, and because, I wasn't able to do the things I wanted to do. And that's what got me out of bed in the end, was that this is not the type of person that I want to be. I don't want to be the type of person who just gives in to, lounging around in bed. And this was just tiredness. This isn't about crippling depression or anything like that. I was really just very tired, and I couldn't be bothered. And it was just like, well, how am I going to feel about myself if I just stay in bed? It's like pretty crap. I didn't want to feel that way. So I dragged my carcass out of bed and everything's fine.
Had a shower and felt much better.
Yeah. And it's funny, showers have magical powers. Okay, so next key learning for me was that there are 4 problems with goals. We've definitely talked about this before, so
sure.
Let's just recap it real quick.
Okay, so the first one is winners and losers can very often have the same goals.
Well, pretty much always. I think everyone wants to win a race or be successful.
Yeah, sure.
That blew my tiny mind. It's like, so the goal isn't the problem.
Yeah, the goal is not.
It's not the important thing.
Not the important thing. It's not what's going to fix things.
No.
Oh, sorry, I was taking a mouthful. That was where you step in as a sidekick.
Achieving a goal is a momentary change. It's like a really fleeting thing. So you achieve your goal, and then what? And you have like a very brief high. And in fact, they've done some research, and they find that imagining how you will feel after you've reached your goal is actually more pleasing than achieving the goal itself, which is interesting.
Okay.
And that's actually another problem as well with the whole goal thing. So it's a momentary thing. It doesn't, this is not building a person, or building a personality, or building a habit, or building an ability. It's just achieving one thing. And that has been a problem with me. It's like when I won the trapeze competition, That was awesome. I was really chuffed. I'd worked so hard up till then, and then I took a break afterwards, and I found it really hard to get back into it. And there's that was my goal, to win that competition, or to do well in that competition. Yeah. And I did do well, and that was it. It's fleeting. It's gone. So it's not that I haven't been training. I have been, but I have not with the same intensity.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Third problem with goals.
It restricts your happiness.
Yeah. You're wondering why?
Go on.
Because when we have a goal, we have a tendency to hang a lot on it. So, I'll be happy when. Yes. I'll be happy when I've got a new kitchen. I'll be happy when I make £100,000 a year. I'll be happy when, you know what I mean? You tie your happiness into something external. Sure. And that's a massive problem, because for me, I think, and for most people, the happiness comes from the doing. It sounds, again, really cheesy, but it's the journey and not the destination that's important. It really is. So it restricts your happiness. And the fourth problem with goals is that it actually works counter to lasting change for all of the reasons that I've just mentioned, really. You've achieved your goal, but then what? Yeah. Are you going to do something else?
Or you've not achieved your goal.
Or even not. If you don't achieve your goal, that can completely destroy things.
Yeah, just crashes everything, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's actually, they work. It's not that goals are a problem. Have your goals, but set it and then forget about it. Focus on the system that's going to get you there, because that's the thing that's going to create lasting change and lasting satisfaction. Yeah,
the system is what's going to generate the habits. The habits is going to, governs your behaviour and the effort and who you are and how much progress you're making. Yeah. And you might just, breeze through your goal and go, oh, there goes that goal. Marvellous. Did that. Yeah. Now on to the next thing with my newfound habits and behaviours.
Yeah, because that's the important thing. And there's a really cool quote that goes with this part of the podcast, and it's from the Bhagavad Gita, and it goes...
What's the Bhagavad Gita?
It's one of the holy books, one of the Hindu holy books.
Okay.
I think it's one of the holy books.
One of the holy books.
And it goes thusly: you are only entitled to the action, never its fruits.
Okay.
Which is another way of saying you have no control at all over the outcome of anything ever. All you have control over is the thing that you're doing right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. You can water your tree, you can feed your tree, you can look after it.
Yeah. And it still might die.
Hopefully
it won't.
Or it might do great. You might get fruit, you might not.
Yeah. But you can guarantee if you do that every year and you look after your tree every year, then you will at some point get fruit.
Yeah.
Okay. Next thing that I took away from this book, which was a huge thing, and this was I'm going to illustrate with my getting out of bed habit.
Okay.
Is the 4 laws of behaviour change.
The 4 laws of behaviour change.
Can you read those out for us, Joe?
I can read those out for us. Okay, number 1, make it obvious.
Yes.
Number 2, make it attractive.
Yes.
Number 3, make it easy. And number 4, make it satisfying.
Yes. And you can flip that to change bad habits as well. So make it unobvious, hide the biscuits. Make it unattractive, cover them in mustard or something. Make it difficult, put it on a really high shelf that you have to get a ladder down. And make it unsatisfying. Maybe pair it with, I don't know, drinking salt water so that it makes you feel sick. I don't know. I'm absolutely not advocating that. Disclaimer.
But if you want positive change.
Yeah, if you want positive change. No, but he does in the book, he does flip it. He does not tell people to drink salt water. But he does flip it. It's like if you want to stop doing a bad habit, you flip the 4 laws.
If you want medical advice, this is not the podcast for you.
It's really not. Or any kind of sensible advice, really. So the way I did this, the way I made this work for me in my getting out of bed and in my daily stretching habit.
Right.
So I really struggle to get out of bed, don't I, Joe?
You are. Well, you have been terrible at it.
But since the beginning of November, are you all right there?
Yeah.
Am I boring you?
No, it's been a long day.
Since the beginning of November, though, I've pretty much got up at 6:30 every day, haven't I?
Yes.
Which is unprecedented for me.
Unprecedented behaviour.
And the way I did it was I stopped trying to get up at 6:30.
Okay.
Which sounds weird. And what I did instead was I set my alarm for 6:00. And instead of the thing being I have to get out of bed now, my thing was I have to turn on the light and sit up. That was it. That's all I have to do. That's all I have to do when the alarm goes off at 6:00 is turn on my light and sit up.
Right.
And that's the habit. So you don't have to build a habit, like a massive habit. So you don't, if you want to write a book, the habit's not I need to write my book every day. The habit is I'm going to open the document on my laptop. That's the habit.
Right.
Because once you've got it open, you might as well write.
Might as well write something.
And I do the same thing with my stretching habit as well. I don't have to stretch. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is take the yoga blocks off the bookcase, which is right there, put them on the floor. That's all I have to do. And then once they're there, they kind of niggle at me to do the stretching. So that's the first thing, is it's kind of making it obvious and making it really simple and easy. So yeah, the easy thing for me was sit up in, just turn on the light, sit up in bed. Anyone can do that. Even if you're asleep, you can do that.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. It's obvious as well. It's really obvious. It's right next to me. All I have to, the lamp is literally just there. I just reach out. The attractive part of it is that I get to read my book for half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like half asleep, and sometimes I am kind of nodding off while I'm reading my book, but I love reading. Reading is one of my favourite things to do in the entire world. So for me, once I've switched on my light and sat up, the reward is that I get to read for half an hour. And then just the getting out of bed.
It's almost inconsequential.
It's almost inconsequential, but it's also incredibly satisfying, because then I find myself in the shower by 6:35, and I'm feeling really pretty smug about it. And so that's how I've done that. That is how I've done that, because the satisfying comes quite often from what you've done. So when I've stretched, again, it kind of hurts, because stretching does it. It's uncomfortable, but it's a satisfying pain that's like, oh, I've done something. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. The next thing that I took from the book that I wrote down in my book notes was just reminders of the Carl Jung quote again, Joe.
So the first Carl Jung quote was, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Yes,
which can actually lead to a lot of accidents. Because, if you're just...
Accidental relationships and accidental...
I was thinking about industrial accidents.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah, because there's a really interesting story in the book Atomic Habits about Japanese trains.
Mm-hmm.
And they do a thing called pointing and calling. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Ah, because would it be part of the... Oh, what do they call it? The Japanese improvement?
Yeah, TPM and Kaizen and all that business.
Yeah. So what they do is they have these routines. Because I don't know how much you know about Japanese trains, but they are incredibly, incredibly reliable. They will arrive within seconds of when they're supposed to, and they will leave within seconds. And, and there was an incident, I think I'm remembering the story right, there was an incident on a train where I think somebody got hurt. But instead of everybody just doing their thing, all of the attendants, the train attendants, the cleaners, the train cleaners as well, because they're all part of it. People like dash on and clean the trains and then dash off again. And the platform attendants and the all of the people involved in train stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just doing it silently, they point at what they're doing and call it out to each other. So it's like, I am closing this door, I am sorting this signal out, I am going in to clean this, I am going to do that. And it sounds really daft, but it saved lives, because there was an incident where a woman, her little boy kind of got away from her and dashed onto the train, and she grabbed him off, and her bag got caught in the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And if people hadn't been doing the pointing and calling thing, she would probably have been dragged off and killed. That's really, really interesting. And we can bring that into what we do as well. So if you've got a habit that you want to change that is not serving you, you can start saying it out loud. And once you start saying, I am reaching for the biscuit tin, I am opening the biscuit tin, I am eating a biscuit, it's like, hang on a minute.
I didn't want to be doing this.
And it just brings it to consciousness again.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a really good tip that I've found. And you feel a bit daft doing it, but it does stop you.
To stop you doing things unconsciously.
Yeah. And it's like, you might decide, actually, I want this biscuit, and that's fine, but at least you've made a decision. You haven't just like...
It hasn't just miraculously happened.
You know what? I need to do this with chocolates, don't I?
Yeah. You've got a massive problem with tubs of chocolate.
I do, and it's because...
Just insane.
But we don't have chocolate in the house normally, except for when it's Christmas and stuff. And I don't buy chocolate. I don't go to shops and buy chocolates and things.
It's like 11 and a half months of the year we don't have any chocolate in the house at all.
But
suddenly it arrives at Christmas and Vicky's just like, I don't know what I'm doing.
That's literally what it's like.
And I come home from work and I'll be like this mound, absolute heap of wrappers.
That's
what
not quite
on
true.
earth has gone on in here? And you'll be like, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I need to point and call at the chocolates. Anyway, implementation intentions. Implementation intentions. Yeah. So rather than just say you're going to do something at some point, be really specific about it. So I get my authors, when I'm training people to write, to declare exactly when and where they're going to write every day. So at 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to sit down at my desk in my office for 2 hours and I'm going to write. And I'm going to implement this with my guitar playing as well, because I'm just fitting it in as and when, which means often it doesn't get fitted in. And so I'm going to be like, right, I'm going to play my guitar every weekday at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Because that's my lunch hour. That's a really useful thing to do as well. Next thing is one of my favourite things to do as well.
Reframing negatives into positives.
Yes.
Makes quite a difference. You get to do something instead of, I have to do something.
Yeah. Have you ever done that? Have you ever tried that? When you really don't want to do something?
Not that specifically, no.
Give it a go, because I've found that it can change my entire mood. So if I have agreed to do something and I'm now regretting it, which does sometimes happen, instead of kind of being like, oh God, I've got to do this thing, instead I will say, oh, I get to go and do this. And I say it with a different energy. And it sounds really woo and really wanky, but it honestly works. It's like that thing, it's really difficult to feel angry if you're smiling. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult to feel sad if you're smiling. And it works. Your bodily actions affect your internal feelings and vice versa. So try that. Another thing I got from it was join a culture where the habit that you want to cultivate is normal. So for me, I've got a group of writers. I'm building a group of writers. If you want to write a book, come and join me, because we are writers. That's what we do. We write every day. That is normal.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's difficult sometimes, because when people see you behaving away from your normal behavior, or your group's normal behavior, or your society's normal behavior, people can be kind of a little bit...
sabotage you.
Yeah, they can sabotage. They get upset about it. Don't like it.
And if you've ever worked in an office, you will have seen this in action, where somebody is really trying hard to be healthier or lose weight or whatever, and there'll be somebody who's like, oh, just have a biscuit. Yeah. It won't hurt. Just have some of this cake.
Slice of cake.
Have some cake. And it's mean. If you're somebody who does that, don't do that. Because it's really, it's not nice.
Yeah.
Another really, really, really cool thing, environmental design. Design your environment to make it easier to do the habits that you want to do.
The thing that you want to do. Yeah.
So if you want to eat healthy lunches, prep them in advance. Make it easy so that you just have to reach into the fridge, grab it. When we've got a big fridge one day, this is one of my when we have future happiness things. But when we've got a big fridge, I'm going to have like my lunches portioned out, ready for, I'll do it on a Sunday or something.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe not every day, but for 3 days a week.
But what you can do is you can make sure your guitar is prominent and easy to find and right there when you want to practice, rather than
having to dig out the cupboard.
Storing it in the cupboard under the stairs or something where you've got to rummage around behind the Hoover to get it. Yeah.
Again, make it easy. Make it obvious. And the 2-minute rule. Oh, this was the thing that kind of blew my mind a little bit. So if there is something in your life that only takes 2 minutes to do it immediately. Get it out of the way. Because just get it out of the way. And that's not the same thing as procrastination. That's not the same thing as, I'm just going to go through all my emails. It's like, if this thing will take 2 minutes, like for me, do I need to write a thank you card to somebody? Yes. Do it now. Because otherwise it sits on your to-do list forever, and you want to get rid of that shit so that you can get on with, not that writing thank you cards is shit. I love writing thank you cards. But yeah, if you've got a 2-minute thing on your to-do list, do that first and then do the most difficult thing.
I do that with washing up now.
Do you?
Yeah. Walk into the house, do the washing up.
Oh. Is that a dig at me?
A little bit. No, it's not.
I do that when I do the laundry and clean the chickens out and take the bins out and there's a row in the room. So I think that's probably, I don't know how long we've been going for.
Plenty.
Oh no.
28 and a half minutes. Yeah. Right, wrap it up.
Bang on time. Joe, what's the main takeaway for this podcast?
Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become.
Yes. What type of person do you want to be, dear listener? Cast your votes.
Cast them wisely.
Cast them wisely, yeah. Who do you want to be and why? So, coming up next week, it's the 200th episode of our podcast. Can you believe it?
Good Lord, really?
Can you believe it?
200?
Yeah, I think we should have a cake. Should we have a cake? Oh my God, should we make a cake? We are going to have a birthday cake. And there may be different hats to this one.
If you've listened to all 200 episodes,
oh my God,
let us know and we'll send you a slice of cake. We probably won't send you a slice of cake, sorry.
I might make you a cake though. Oh no, because if I might have to make a lot of cakes.
What if 100 people say yes? You have to make loads of cake.
You don't want to eat my cake. One day I'll get a picture of the slump to show you.
Bad cake.
No, it tasted good. Looked real bad. So yeah, I haven't fully decided what the topic of the 200th episode is going to be, to be honest, but I think I might get you to interview me. on any topic you like. You could do the work.
What? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Yes, it is now. So next week is our 200th episode. Not entirely sure what it's going to be about yet. We could do a review of our most listened to episodes.
Okay.
We could do the negotiation series in short, like the Reduced Shakespeare Company. Anyway, right. Next week, 200th episode. Tune in. Find out what we're going to do. We're gonna have a cake. Totally going to have a cake.
Totally going to eat cake.
I'm going to make a cake. And I'm going to decorate it.
Not whilst recording the podcast, though.
No.
No.
And what is going on in our world? Well, I am still planning my big book launch for January the 30th. There's going to be some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So if you already have a copy of my book, there will be goodies for you as well, because I don't want you to miss out. If you don't yet have a copy of my book, wait until January the 30th and buy it then, because there's going to be all sorts of goodies.
Cool.
And get on my email list at moxiebooks.co.uk. I am running a writing retreat in Fuerteventura in late February.
Sweet.
That's going to be really cool.
Couple of spaces left?
Yeah, there's a few spaces. It's very informal. It's a bit of a dry run for the luxury retreats that I'm going to one day run it. It's going to be low cost because it's going to be a bit of a dry run. I've had 2 people say that they really want to go so far. I don't really want any more than a maximum of 5 people and me.
Mm-hmm.
So there are probably three places. I'm going to be putting out more information about that in the next week or so. And flights to Fuerteventura are super cheap as well.
Cool.
And it'll be warm. It'll be warm and sunny. So if you fancy that, if you fancy coming to Fuerteventura, just drop me an email with the subject line, "I want to write in the sun."
Okay.
And you will be the first person to get, first dibs. If you have listened to every episode of this podcast, email me with your postal address and I will send you a silly gift.
Nice.
And if you like this podcast, go to iTunes and subscribe and rate and review us.
5 stars.
5 stars. If you don't like us, then other podcasts are available. And yeah, share us. Please share us. If you know somebody who will enjoy this nonsense, then send them a link. moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll be back same time next week. Thanks, Joe.
No worries. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can find links and show notes on the website at moxiebooks.co.uk/podcast, where you can also sign up for the best daily emails in the multiverse and find loads of free resources to help you write your book. We'll be back the same time next week with more tales from the book writing trenches and the latest on what the tiny sheeps have been up to.